then that stage of unity, ekagrta, and then comes ekta. So the Hindi words all go together. But ekta, that state of unity in which we're able to demonstrate that yes, truly, there is one who is in charge, and it's that one's instructions that we're following in our lives. And because Baba has worked on the external physical level, the beauty is that it's not just that we are all together in terms of understanding the same philosophy and the same ideas and practicing the same things also, but it's also the way in which we apply those things on the physical, external level. And so there's a system that Baba has created on the external level. And if I just ask myself, well, what is Baba's system? And most likely, I think 99% of this gathering all knows what those systems are. But Baba's instructions have been so clear, spiritually as well as physically. One person always tells me that he actually enjoys Sakar Murlis more than anything else. And I was curious to know why, because most people will say, of course I love all Murlis, but I love Avyakt Murlis a bit more. That's the usual comment I get. But he said, the reason why I love Sakar Murlis very much, and I have to take time to understand what the Avyakt Murlis are saying, but the Sakar Murlis are speaking to me on a human level. Baba's talking about what happens in very physical ways, whether you're tempted by things to eat, or whether you're distracted by human beings, or there's difference of opinion of sanskars, all of these things. So Sakar Murlis are very much related to practical things that happen in our world and the day-to-day things that we come across. And of course, Baba's speaking in Bharat, and so a lot of the customs and systems that Baba speaks about, whether it's marriages and celebrations, it's connected with Bharat, but it's on that external physical level. And so it's not just that Baba's bringing us together spiritually. Yes, first step is to come together spiritually. But then having come together spiritually, it floats, it cascades down further, and you're able to see how it applies on the external physical level also. And so go to any center in the world, whether it's Russia or whether it's the Middle East. Very different cultures, very different situations, but the way the centers function are the way Baba taught us in Madhuban. Moiniben always used to say that it's very lovely that Baba gave Dadi the task of creating a model of Madhuban. And so she says how if I had gone straight from Madhuban to the Caribbean, which was her first stop outside Bharat, it would have felt as if translating what happens in Madhuban to the situation there would have felt very difficult, and people would have said, but how can we do this? That's India. How can we do that here? But Dadi, creating that model of Madhuban in London, followed the Madhuban timetable, followed the Madhuban system, meant that we saw Madhuban being replicated outside of Bharat, and so we were able then to translate it wherever else it is Baba sent us. And I remember Dadi arriving in London, April 74, and it was evening time that we arrived. It wasn't the early morning flight, somehow it was evening time. And Dadi sat with a small group because we had exhibitions going to take place in Oxford Street and so on. And so Dadi sat with a little group, Ramesh Bhai, Usha Ben, Dr. Nirmala, Moini Ben, they were all here. And she said to them, what time is morning class? And Dr. Nirmala was the main person at that point, the resident. And Dr. Nirmala said, Daddy, it's your time very late, so you tell us what time you want to have morning class. And Daddy said, that's not my question. You tell me, what time do you usually have morning class? And they looked at each other and said, well, Daddy, it's just us that's here for morning class. There's nobody else. And so this is why we are flexible. We are here. And Daddy said, okay. In those days, Murli used to be 6:30 in the morning. So she told them, okay, let's have class at 6:30 in the morning. Like Madhuban, instantly. Like Madhuban. And so then she said to them, there must be other people in contact who sometimes come. And Dr. Nirmala said, well, they come in the afternoon or the evening, they don't come in the morning. And so Daddy said to her, okay, you phone them and tell them that Daddy's here from Madhuban. And at that point we thought Daddy was going to be in London for just 2 weeks. So Daddy's here for 2 weeks. You believe it? 2 weeks. And tell them that Daddy's here for 2 weeks and they should come for morning class. And so she phoned around, and one beautiful soul said, if you give me a call at 5 o'clock in the morning, I'll come. And so Dr. Nirmala did that. And this lovely soul, a brother, came every day while Daddy was here in the mornings, and then Daddy had to go off to Africa or something. So, but he started to come, and later his wife started to come also. But Daddy's intention from the very beginning, Madhuban. And so across the world you see everyone following the Madhuban system, the Madhuban timetable, and offering bhog and everything else. Even Wednesday afternoons, evenings devoted to a big clean-up everywhere, whether it's your Lokik home, whether it's a centre. So sometimes I speak to people till now, and they say, well, it's Wednesday, and so I'm going to be busy cleaning the centre, preparing for Thursday morning bhog. So the system's ekta, unity, on an external, physical, practical level, but more than that, in the reasoning why we are doing things and what we are doing. And so Baba creating that better world which has unity, not just one language, but oneness in everything, absolute harmony. And if human beings are together in harmony, then of course those vibrations reach out anyway. Just one individual and their own internal state, one of harmony, then that harmony also is experienced by others, but definitely coming together as a global family. Somebody reminded me when Robert Muller, trying to remember his name, when Robert Muller came to Madhuban in 1983, he was at that time Assistant Secretary General of the UN, and our relationship with the UN had just started a couple of years earlier, and he became a very, very good friend of Dadi. But he came to Madhuban and he saw this multicolored gathering, this multiracial gathering, and everybody coming together with that harmony. And he said, I want to tell them back in New York at the UN that we're thinking about creating a peace university, and we're thinking about creating a university of all nations. And Peace University later was created in Costa Rica, and the university in which all nations come in Japan. But he said, I want to tell them that it already exists, and it exists here. And so truly, not just to be able to give people an experience of that in Madhuban, but to give people that experience here. And of course, not just when they visit from time to time, but when they get deeply involved and see what are the sanskars of the family, to be able to see that even with a variety of sanskars, there is that oneness. But the oneness doesn't happen on that external level. It happens through that process of introversion, and then the focus on one, the relationship with one, then the concentration, and yes, then it's going to be that stage in which one purpose, one vision, one destination, and everybody's energies together.